Hi folks, and welcome to another edition of From Amateur to Expert Daily. Let's talk about media interviews and how you can get the most out of them. I'm at a major broadcasting house today preparing for an interview. I'll be on one of our news channels, and I just thought of a few things that I do as a matter of course strategically prior to events like this in order to maximize publicity, and I thought I'd share them with you. The first one is this. I am co-presenting with another person today. I was invited by Andrew Tsuro, who is high up in Toastmasters International and in particular is talking about the entrepreneurial side of things. And that gives us an opportunity because we can do things together that neither of us could do individually. And it goes like this. I might set Andrew up in a certain way by saying things like, Andrew here is an authority with Toastmasters, and this is something that he has done within the organization. Now, it sounds infinitely better for me to say that about him. And we can decide in advance what sorts of things we might like to come out in that interview. This is nationally broadcast, so what do I want out of it? Well, I want people to subscribe to the YouTube channel. So better then if Andrew mentions that and says, you know, Douglas shares tips with entrepreneurs daily, and he has this channel in which he shares another tip each day on how you can go from amateur to expert. So I spike him with what I need and he does the same for me, and it comes across as slick and professional. That's the first thing you can do if you are co-presenting. Second thing is I brought a handful of my books with me. They didn't tell me to, they didn't ask me to, but I brought them anyway. And essentially it goes like this. You sit down in the lounge and you say, oh, these are some of my books, and 9 times out of 10, the producer will say, well, let's put those on the table in front of you, and they'll start the interview with a panning shot over the books, and then they'll say, Douglas Kruger, speaker and author, and so forth. By bringing the books along, by bringing along a visual prop or something that you want publicized, you might very well get it onto national television. You have the option. If they don't want to use it, they simply put it off to one side. Make a point of planning that in advance. What would you like to show? Is there a product, a prop, or something physical and tangible you can take with you? The third tip, and I think this is perhaps the easiest one, is an interview is best when there is something personal about it. So we're talking entrepreneurship today, and I could sit in that chair and be the equivalent of a book of stats. But then, why bother? They could have simply opened up a book and filmed those pages. It's good to know your facts and your figures and your numbers and your charts and your graphs and all of those things if you want to throw that information in. But you're there because you're you. So find a way to take your major key points, the things you want to cover, and turn them into a personal story. Say things like, here's what I experienced, here's how I overcame that, here's what I witnessed when working with. And it's those little personal stories that distinguish you and make you interesting. Storytelling is always the heart of communication anyway, but an interview is best when it is personal. I'll see if we can get some of the visuals from this into the video. I struggle with that sort of thing because what tends to happen is it's copyright. So if we have a couple of seconds of a clip and maybe you see me seated about to start the interview, we might get away with that. Unfortunately, I can't reproduce the whole thing. We'll see what we can add into the mix. If not, those are 3 things you can do to go from amateur to expert and increase the effectiveness of your time on air. When you think about a memorable, distinctive brand, I take something like Harley Davidson as a very clan-building brand. It's not about how fast they answer the phone. Sure, you expect the professionalism, you expect the good levels of service and so forth, but it is not at all what you think of when you think Harley. You think of American dream, freedom, midlife crisis, whatever the case might be. But there is a brand narrative and a message going on there. So the critical question is, how do we think in terms of theater? And theater, I think, is the key to this one. It's not necessarily just about how excellent your business is, it's how distinctive it is. What is the most important thing? From the highest level right down to the lowest level, whether you are leading a multinational brand or trying to escape poverty, there is one quality above all that will get you to the next level, and that is trustworthiness. If you're a multinational brand that says, our goal is to promote health, but you're selling cigarettes in your store, you are betraying trust. If you are a first-time entry-level worker, it's your first job, and instead of repaying that trust with excellence, You take shortcuts, you steal something here or there. You do not get to graduate to the next level. The universe gives you a trust test. It applies at the bottom, it applies at the top. Pass the trust test, you get to graduate.